Hey, what's going on, fam? Welcome back to another episode of the Left, Right, Left podcast. You already know who I am, Mark R. Chabot, a.k.a. the Silver Fox, the handsomest dude in Prince William County, out here getting it in. Marine Corps retired, Star Sergeant type. Before I get started with tonight's amazing guest, I just want to give a big shout out to, there we go, Devil's Backbone 8-Point IPA, who is the official sponsor of the podcast. I'm telling you, this is the greatest IPA you have ever drank in your life. Pick yourself up some from the holidays. It got rebranded. It looks cammy. It looks like military/hunting, just straight great American type stuff we got going on here. So, hey, check it out. Try it out. Let me know what you think. Okay, time is of the essence, and I got a husband and a dad on the other side, so we're going to get right into this. All right, I served with this gentleman a few years ago on Marine Corps Recruit Depot, San Diego, California, where he served as a company commander. He's got a really cool story because he served 13 years as a commissioned officer, ended up getting out the Marine Corps as a major, leaving the comfortable life that he had. You know, he's got a little child, married and everything. And he goes and he says, you know what? I'm going to go pursue my passion for marksmanship and for shooting guns, ammo, all things that us as Marines love, veterans love. And he's out there getting after it right now. So, hey, this story is going to be something, you know, any of you guys out there, you know, that got passions, follow your passions. Parker's going to tell you all about it. Brother, welcome to the show, man.
Hey, thank you for having me, man. This is a blast. I'm really excited to be here.
Yeah, dude, it's good to see your face, man. I'm glad you and your family are doing well.
Oh, thank you. My beard doesn't quite match yours, but I'm trying to.
You're a little younger than I am, Paco. I'm an old bastard here, so it's all good. Hey, man, let's go ahead and turn the clock back. Tell everybody a little bit about where you're from.
Sure. I grew up here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Really spent a lot of time running around the mesa, the desert out here with a BB gun, having fun, learning how to shoot. My dad taught me, just like most kids out west, the fundamentals of marksmanship from a really young age. I get to high
school,
and we were talking earlier, you know me, I'm not a very big dude. So
what's your dimensions?
I am personality-wise, but my physical stature, 5'5" and 135 pounds.
Dude, you look like a deuce and a half on the other side. Those biceps are huge, man.
I've been trying to.
Go ahead, man. Sorry.
But yeah, doing organized sports like football, baseball. I had no strike zone. I would get creamed out on the football field. So I didn't really, as a young kid where you're forming who you are, what you are, I didn't have anything to cling on to. And I joined a high school ROTC. The ROTC program had a really healthy shooting team. And this coach, he was very well known nationally for building a national championship team. We have those banners in your high school, like, you know, state champion, whatever, right? Like the ROTC has national champion, national champion, national champion, national champion. Like it's unreal. And he would bring in Olympians to teach us. And we had some truly high caliber coaching. And so that was the first thing that I had a bit of a natural knack at it, but really it was the first thing I really applied myself to. And it was the first thing I got really good at.
That's really cool. It's like you're blending like a military ROTC program with marksmanship and everything. And then you must have been a pretty decent student because you went right from high school into college, correct?
Correct. So from there, went to college at University of New Mexico here in Albuquerque. And I didn't do it to ROTC or anything like that. Still knew I wanted to serve in some capacity, but wasn't quite sure. And my roommate at the time had enlisted, and he was a reservist. So he'd come back from drill and he would just complain about his leadership or, you know, how much it sucks being a grunt, whatever. And he kind of convinced me to pursue the officer route because I wanted to enlist. And he was like, no, man, you need to make some real change and go be an officer. What I did, I just did a PLC program, just walked into a recruiting office basically and stuck with it. And there we are.
Yeah. Tell everybody what your MOS was, you know, throughout the time in the Marine Corps.
I was a jack of all trades, which is a combat engineer. So
yes,
that's right. Hey, that's right.
I just retired last week. Sergeant Major Dwayne Reese, your old Sergeant Major, just retired him, man.
He retired?
He did finally after 25 years out of 6th Marine Regiment. I told him I was having you on today, man. He wanted me to tell you hello.
Oh, I'll have to give him a call. It's been a minute.
Yeah, he's a good dude. I'm sorry. Go ahead. So, combat engineer.
Yeah, combat engineer officer, providing counter mobility, mobility, survivability, and general engineering to the regiment. That's what we did.
Yeah. Good. So throughout your time, you served 13 years. What would you say is like something that you could say it was like probably one of the coolest things that you did, one of the most impactful, one of the most rewarding things that you did throughout your years of service?
That's easy. It was the hardest one, which was during the Afghan withdrawal. I was a company commander, Bravo Company at 8th Engineer Support Battalion. Lieutenant Colonel Brandon Cooley was our battalion commander. And during the withdrawal, we had we had to build refugee camps and to catch all these Afghans coming out who were fleeing. And I got a phone call right after, I think it was a day or two after the bombing at Abbey Gate. And my battalion commander called me and said, "Hey, we've been given a mission and you're my least engaged unit and the most ideally poised to do this. So we're going to go up to Quantico and we're going to build a cantonment camp that can hold 5,000 people."
Yeah. Out there at Camp Upshur, correct?
That's right. So Camp Upshur had a CLB 6 or CLB 2.
Yeah.
They were up there already, and because Camp Upshur already has the case bands and everything, and it's got a good skeleton to build that. But we needed to build because the task force commanders or General Poole told the task force commander from AR North, said, "Hey, like this can hold 4,000 people. I'm going to get you to 5,000." And that's when he called 8th Engineer Support Battalion and said, "Hey, build me a camp that can fit 1,000." And over Labor Day weekend, we basically were given 96 hours to get it done, and we got it done in 72.
Wow.
What's crazy is when I was promoted to major and became the OPSO at Weapons Training Battalion in Camp Lejeune, my ops chief, Master Sergeant Mortalo, was with 1-8, and they were basically putting Afghans on planes and launching them, and we were catching them and putting them in these refugee camps, for lack of a better term, to process them into the United States.
Yeah. What a mess that was, man. Very disruptive, but
it was very stressful. I knew it was a time where we could actually provide some actual impact. Obviously, these people are fleeing their country. They're fleeing for their lives. Many of them showed up with literal trash bags of clothes, and that's all they had. They left all of their family heritage and belongings behind, getting to provide them some safety in the United States and then process them in. The thank yous that we got were incredible.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt. We won't deviate into the topic of the withdrawal because that'll end up stroking some real emotions and throw the podcast, way left. But don't appreciate the way it was done, but glad that we're out of there and it's done. But hearts, thoughts, and prayers, look at those Gold Star families, on the withdrawal. And all of you guys, that had to do a lot of the work and allocate a bunch of resources and your labor into taking care of these folks as they came in the United States. Do you know where they went?
Where a lot of those people went. What they would try and do is find if they had any type of family tie to anybody in the United States. And if they did, they try and contact them and coordinate some type of transportation, either air or bus, to get them there. If they didn't have any ties to the United States, there were communities around the country that were volunteering. Somewhere in Nebraska was a big one. And they would say, "Hey, like we have tons of hotels. Bring them here, and we'll catch them, and we'll help process them too." And so there were a lot of governors who were reaching out at the time, to help say, "Hey, like raise their hand, say, hey, we'll take some people."
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. All right, we'll get back on topic here. Well, you're a young boy, and you're part of the shooting teams. You had a real deep affection for firearms and and precision marksmanship. When you're in the Marine Corps, did you do any of that stuff as well?
I did. My very first unit, I show up and meet, as a brand new lieutenant, meet the XO, and they, doing the kind of the initial intake counseling, like, "Hey, who are you? What do you do?" And I just had briefly mentioned that I like to shoot. And then like a week later, this random master sergeant walks into my office. He's like, "Hey, sir, we have they were called division matches back then. We have a Western Division match coming up, and for a shooting team, we're going to put together a squadron team, and I need an officer because one of the requirements is to have an officer on the team."
Yeah.
"I heard you like to shoot. You want to be the officer?" "Sure, this sounds fun. Like, I'll do it."
Yeah.
So we shoot. I got my first medal back then, my first competition shooting badge medal from the Marine Corps. And then that master sergeant ended up being Master Sergeant Eric Lee, who left that unit to go be the staff and COIC of the Marine Corps shooting team.
Nice.
So from there,
those like cool medal, like those really nice medals you get to wear like on your alphas, like those kind of medals, right?
Yeah. And the favorite part is every time you report into a new unit wearing your alphas, wearing those, every sergeant major looks at you funny.
Damn right. I mean, like, what is that, man? That looks cool. Yeah, I know. Because I'm trying to see if y'all fouled up. That's good stuff, man. And out of like all the matches, like how many medals, like placings, can you just tell everybody that? I know that's hard to.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask you to not be humble and lay it out there like how good you did.
So the program is called the EIC program, and Excellence in Competition. If you demonstrate excellence in competition throughout the whole myriad of levels, just local, regional, national level, is if you place in the top 10% at each of those levels of competition, you get points towards your distinguished marksman badge.
Okay.
To get your distinguished marksman badge, you have to achieve a total of 30 points. So there's a lot of different shooting badges out there. If you Google USMC shooting badges, it's not just the expert sharpshooter marksman badges that everybody sees. There's a whole slew of other ones that are out there that you can earn. To get your distinguished marksman badge, you have to accrue a total of 30 points. I think in total, I have between individual and team badges, I think I have about 16 or 17. It took me about 9 years to become distinguished in both rifle and pistol, but it's a goal that you can work towards throughout your career that unfortunately not a lot of Marines know about. It's not very well advertised. Yeah. I think they've gotten a lot better these past few years advertising for it, and we've seen the participation in the competition in arms program really skyrocket. So.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the reasons why, you're just a very intriguing guest, not just with your story, of transition, which we'll get to in a minute, but just the mere fact that you can advertise these things, because there's probably a lot of Marines out there, officer enlisted warrant officers that are probably pretty damn good shots, but they've never kind of put it together, be like, oh, let me go try this thing out, with these matches and stuff.
Right. And a lot of guys think like, I'm not good enough to start shooting in competition. My argument is, like shooting in competition is how you get good. Nobody's good their first competition. You're going to blow it out the water. Like you're not going to do good because you don't know what to expect. But the more you inoculate yourself to that stress in competition and that performance, that's another metric. You're training for combat.
Yeah, no doubt. Man, that's great. Thanks for sharing that. So I just want to make sure I get this right. So you're coming up on a dozen years, 12 years in the Marine Corps. You're kind of at that point where, you got to shit or get off the pot per se. But you're married at this point. You got a baby.
2 at that point. Yeah.
Oh yeah, 2 at that point. Okay, sorry. So you had 2 at that point. And let's be real about it. Like a major, good pay. You can get very, very comfortable being a field grade officer in the Marine Corps, just knowing that for another at least 8 years, you are providing, a blanket of security for them. You're doing something that you enjoy. I mean, what a fucking set of balls on you to be like, you know what? I'm going to get out and I'm going to go do the thing that I am really, really passionate about and go, open up my own business. So before you tell everybody about your business, like what was your thought process on why you thought that was a good risk to take?
Well, I don't know if I thought it was a good risk to take. I knew it was a risk. Yeah, the obviously, military lifestyle, like, yes, especially being a major, you do make a good paycheck and it can be comfortable, but I don't really like being comfortable. And there was just something more in me that I wanted something else. I enjoy, don't get me wrong. I love the Marine Corps. I'm still serving in the reserves. I have drill next month and I love it. But it was just, there was something else. And I had back surgery. So I had 30 days of leave, of convalescent leave. And that was the most leave I've probably taken in my whole career.
Yeah.
Combined. And my wife was kind of buckling up for me, like, Parker's home. Like, he's going to try and run the house, that whole dynamic when dad's not there a lot and mom has her system, And so we were kind of bracing for impact on that. And it was wonderful. We had such a fun time together. We really reconnected, and it was kind of like this moment where I realized I either need to commit to my family or they're going to continue sacrificing and not having me completely while I serve. So we had a really good conversation and we decided I think it's time to leave the Marine Corps, at least active duty component. And I kind of started looking for it. At that point, you have to decide what you want to do when you grow up again. You have to make that decision twice now. So
you pursue what you're passionate about, and you indeed did that. So when you first got out, Parker, did you leap right into, getting this thing designed, or did you work for a little bit before you started getting the schematics done for your shooting complex?
So technically, I was still on active duty September 1st of this year, and we had our soft opening September 14th.
Nice.
So
seamless.
Jump right into it. The story, I guess we could reveal what it is, what this whole endeavor was. So it takes, especially as an officer, it takes a while to get out of the Marine Corps. You have to resign your commission. And once you resign your commission, that begins the TRS process and the VA benefits and all of that. And it's about a year. Thanksgiving of last year, I had learned that there was an old shooting range here in my hometown that was for sale. They got shut down during COVID. The owners were getting a bit older, and that kind of took the wind out of their sails. So they decided to just, hey, let's put a for sale sign in the front yard and lock the gates. That was Thanksgiving of last year. Christmas, I took 10 days of leave and wrote a 30-page business plan and trying to start, really got serious about how are we going to make this happen. And it's a 500-acre shooting range. It's not some indoor shooting range, small building. It's 500-acre ranch land. Wow. With a full shotgun course, full rifle range, 17 private pistol berms that can be rented out.
Oh, wow.
We put in an archery course. I have 10 head of cattle. I'm a cattleman now.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah, cattles are cool.
No doubt.
Yeah, but so I had to figure out how to do all of this, how to start the business, how to organize it, there's a lot of operational aspects to it that I just completely ignorant, never having done it, right? And so I spent probably 5 or 6 months being serious about how to start the business and who to bring on as partners, because I can't do it by myself. And then probably another 4 or 5 months of negotiations with the sellers. And then we got the keys August of this year, August 3rd. Had about 6 weeks where we remained closed, where I just caught up on deferred maintenance on the property. And then, from August 3rd and then September 14th was our opening day.
You've been open now, let me think, 3 months, a little over 3 months, 4 months. Mm-hmm. What is kind of like the demand from your customers? Like, what is the thing that, that they ask you to do the most?
Really, everyone is just excited that we're open again. Also, so there's how my berms are set up is it's a 50-yard berm. There are 17 of them shoulder to shoulder. And if you go to an indoor shooting range, you're renting a lane, right? It's just you on that lane. For safety reasons, on an indoor range, there's only so much that you can do safety-wise. Whereas out here, I'm trying to get people to kind of break that barrier of just standing at a table and shooting a gun. Like that is shooting. You are shooting a gun, but are you training? Are you getting better? Are you pushing yourself?
Right.
No. So on my range, when you rent a private berm, it's your berm. Nobody else is going to go on it but you and whoever you bring in your party. I give everybody a particular safety brief, and they sign a set of range rules, and they have to follow those. But really, I lay out the left and rights of what they can and cannot do, and then I let them to it.
Stand by.
And I encourage people to draw from the holster and shoot, to shoot and move, have multiple target engagements, to practice transitions, shoot as fast as you want. Everybody's heard those stories. You go to an indoor range and you do a double tap and you get yelled at because you're shooting too fast. So I'm trying to create and design a training facility where people can actually get better at marksmanship and not just stand there and shoot a gun. So that, and then there's a huge demand. Being out west, you can see pretty far. You can see farther than you can shoot. And so there's a lot of people who really want to shoot long range, and I have 500 acres. So there's a huge demand.
Meter range?
We have our rifle range. We have some shooting barricades that can go out to about 450 yards.
Okay.
I can reorient those targets and we can shoot across the valley and get up to about 1,000. But in order to do that safely, I would have to shut down berms 1 through 5 and my sporting clays course just for safety reasons. So that's going to be something that we're going to do not fairly routinely, but probably once a month on a day that we would normally be closed. But what I'm trying to get people to really, really focus on is, any dude can sit back on a concrete shooting bench that's nice and stable and walk his 20th shot in to hit a 1,000-yard target. It's a challenge, but it's not too hard. But can you effectively engage and re-engage a small 4-inch plate at 400 yards off of a rooftop or a log hurdle or a cattle fence? Something that's not particularly stable, that you're not necessarily comfortable in. Can you make that shot? Because to me, that's impressive.
Yeah. It's interesting. So right now, you provide, a service to the community, private citizens, et cetera. Do you envision, down the road as you keep on, growing, perfecting, the range and stuff? Do you think that you'll pivot over towards, more like corporate, government maybe coming in and using your stuff? I mean, what do you envision? Do you just want to keep it the way you have it, or do you have aspirations, maybe, to keep on, growing it and making it more profitable, et cetera?
Right. I want to grow. We need to grow. The community needs it to grow.
Yeah.
Yes. I want government to come in, having served on active duty and knowing what mission sets we were given, and to go train to it. Sometimes just name a range control. Sometimes they can be a bit of a hurdle to getting some effective training. Police officers are no different.
Jesus. Fuck.
Yeah. And police officers are no different. They have their own training hurdles too. And unfortunately, a lot of times they have to rely on government range complexes like a city shooting park that's public, ran by tax dollars, and they lease out a small portion of it, right? And what we're going through right now is here in Albuquerque, the shooting range park for the police, it hasn't been maintained by the government very well, and they're shutting it down to refurbish it. So now for a year, our police officers aren't going to have a range to go train to. That's why I come in.
Yeah, there you go.
We absolutely, feel obligated to provide that, because it's not about the politics of if you like the police chief or not, or the city commissioners or whoever. It's about our young men and women out there patrolling every day. Like, sure, as Marines, we put our lives on the line too, but it wasn't every day.
Yeah, not like police officers, no.
Right. That's absolutely a job that I don't want to do. And I'm grateful that somebody else has raised their hand to take that oath to do it. But now I'm in a position where I can give back to them to help them go home to their families at night too. So
that's awesome.
We absolutely want to branch out into government and police.
Yeah, Legacy Ranch, Albuquerque, New Mexico. And I tell you, man, just my memory's kind of jogging a little bit. If we could open up a mini Legacy Ranch in Washington, D.C., and Muriel Bowser, the mayor up there, would allow it, I think that would be a strong deterrent for all this damn crime we got up here in the DMV, man.
Absolutely.
They would never go for it, but I'm just saying, what an awesome deterrent, man. Open up a huge outdoor freaking shooting complex, and all these, folks out there that aren't law abiding, and they see all these badass freaking, citizens out there getting really good with their firearms. They'll think twice about going out there in those streets and acting a damn fool.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Hey, Parker, tell everybody real quick about your family, man.
Sure. So my wife, Jane, we were married. The Depot is a fun place to be, especially if you are in a relationship, because if there's any weakness in that relationship, the depot lifestyle will bring that out, right?
Yeah.
I met, married, and had a kid all on the depot. So
very nice.
That should tell you a little bit about my wife and how strong she is. But she's amazing. Her name is Jane. We met in 2019.
I remember meeting her, man. She's really, really nice. I met her at a couple of your grads and stuff. She's very, very nice woman.
Yep. So we got married in 2019. My son Everett, man, that kid he's just as addicted to shooting as I am. He's young. Loves it. He's got all these targets taped on the wall around the house because he saw my dry fire room with my targets on the wall. So he does it with his Nerf guns. He comes out to the ranch. He's got his BB gun out there, and this kid, he won't stop shooting.
It's awesome, man. Yeah. We're going to get ready to wrap up because I know it's your time. You're on mountain time, so you're at about 5:34, which means it's about dinner time and everything. So, hey, man, I did want to ask you, to provide the viewers, with one last, tidbit of wisdom amongst your journey. Obviously you took a big leap and assumed, a lot of risks to go out there and do that. You left something that was really, really comfortable and that you were good at to do this. And I know that's not an easy thing to do. There's lots of dudes and gals out there that have similar feelings and emotions, but they won't do it. What do you tell them?
Sometimes you have to believe in yourself, and that can be the hardest thing for people. I mean, the confidence, commitment, confidence, capability, and courage. Those are huge. Having the commitment to do something and stick with it is what builds your capability. When you're very capable at it, you get more confident at it.
Right.
Now, the difference between confidence and courage is courage isn't fun.
Right.
In that moment, it's not a fun place to be, being courageous and having to step out and believe in yourself, believe in this vision that you have. If it's something that you're passionate about, like I am with shooting, and as long as you put one foot in front of the other and you have the courage to go out and do it and be uncomfortable in it, you can't fail. Sure, there's tons of stories of new entrepreneurs trying something new and failing at it. But what separates them, the successful ones from the not successful ones, is they stop at their first failure. Yeah. Failure is an opportunity to learn. I call it failing forward. Okay, I know that didn't work. I'm going to try a different approach now. So yeah, ultimately you're going to have to believe in yourself to do it. If this is something that you truly love and and are passionate about, man, I've worked every day since August 3rd, 7 days a week. The only time I haven't is when I fly out to go drill. And then I'm still working. And I'm working sun up to sundown every day. And it's physical, it's exhausting, it's stressful. But dude, it's not work. I'm playing, I'm having fun. This is something that I'm passionate about and I'm good at and I love. And I now get to provide a really fun service to the community. So yeah, just have the courage and faith in yourself.
I love it, man. I'm like the proud, big brother sitting back here, like it's awesome, man. Your story, man. When I watched you shoot, on like your Instagram reels and stuff, really, really motivating and just
thank you.
I love bringing people on that, are doing things like that you're doing because it provokes thought. It provokes, people, to think about, what they're doing and perhaps, take a different course that would indeed make them happier or better at life. So I think your story will resonate, with a lot of people, man. And again, you got a set of fucking nuts on you, man. Not a lot of people would do what you did. And I'm just wicked proud of you, man. I'm glad. The other thing is like a lot of times you do this stuff and you don't always know how it's going to work out. With you, it's worked out really well, partially because, you got a planner background being a field grade officer and you had your ducks in line and you had a good business plan and all those things. So that'd be the other thing that I would tell the viewers is just don't do it on a whim. Like make sure you have a really solid plan. Don't be like, look, I'm going to go do this. And then you don't do any of the homework or the legwork that you need to do. Right. It's really important that you do that.
Right. And this story is still developing. We've only been open for 3 months. I'm in some discussions with some larger organizations, both shooting and non-shooting.
Beautiful.
We have some really big plans for this place in the future. So I'd be happy to keep you updated on how it goes at Legacy Ranch.
Yeah, I can't wait, man. I love following you. And, man, if I could, I do have actually a couple colleagues in Albuquerque that work. There's a little Air Force base out there where they have a little facility. So if I can, I forget the name of it, but anyway, if I can ever sneak out there and go visit them. It'll be
Mhm.
just to say hi to them, and then I'm coming to see you.
Absolutely, and send them my way too. There's Kirtland Air Force Base is pretty big.
That's it.
The PJ Schoolhouse is here too.
That's it. It's Kirkland. Matter of fact, I'm going to shoot our lead out there a note tomorrow and just I'll pass her. I'll be like, hey, pass to our colleagues at Legacy Ranch, and I'll give her the whole rundown. So
I'd be happy to have them out.
Yeah, that'd be great. Hey man, any save rounds? Any shout outs to anybody before we wrap up, brother?
No. I just want to say thank you for having me on, reaching out to me, having the faith in me, and supporting me. I know at the depot, as a young, dumb captain, I don't know what I was doing, especially when it comes to training recruits and drill instructors. But having the wisdom and guidance from you, just the real wisdom and guidance, just being a real good dude, not just this fake Marine Corps leader that you think you need to be, but just the real person that you are, man. Just keep doing that. I know I watch your podcast. You do great, man. Just keep doing that, and it's really well received.
Yeah, it means a lot, Parker. Thank you so much for your support and your encouragement. Also, thank you for all the work that you did over there in the Bravo Nation and keeping that place straight and narrow and doing good things and making great Marines on the back end. That's a tough task to do.
I got some gray hairs because of Bravo, but they tried to kill me.
I saw Stephen Proctor the other day too, so
he called me. Yeah. We're trying to link up. Yeah, he is the first sergeant to a captain whose dad just came to my range the other day, and we just got to talking. He was a Marine as well, and we just got to talking and linked up our lineage. And it's a small world.
That's great. So. Hey man, I'm gonna turn you to on Liberty, and hey, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you and your family.
And with you,
and all the best. And I look forward, to keeping in touch with you, and to all the viewers out there. I hope you guys enjoyed, Parker's story, him sharing some things, and, hey, just continue to get after it. Be bold, be brave, be exceptional, and freaking stay after it. This is the last full podcast of the year. I'm unplugging. I hope everybody has a great holiday season, man. I love you guys. Take care now.